the one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
How desperate are you? You have made me very desperate.
All right, let's talk about it. Because as I sit here recovering from watching Captain Brown, man, I was sitting here thinking, what does the MCU have up its sleeve for the next few years to get excited about? We know that they're working on Avengers Doomsday right now after they showed how desperate they were in admitting the failure of phases 4 and 5 by bringing Robert Downey Jr. back as Doomsday. But other than that, what do we even have to look forward to, and why will we want to look forward to Avengers Doomsday? Because if you look at the cast of characters that we have that's going to build up this Avengers roster, in quotations, there's not one character there that looks like A, the de facto leader, or B, interesting enough to put people into the seats. The reason why the OG Avengers film worked is because in phase 1 you had Captain America, you had Iron Man, you had the Incredible Hulk, you had Thor, and you even had Black Widow in one of the Iron Man movies. You had a bunch of characters that were intertwined together through this overarching story. Even though they all had their own personal ones, there was an overarching story building up to the Avengers. So when they all came together, it made it that much more impactful that all these characters from the other different movies that we've seen came together. So with Avengers Doomsday, the cast that we have right now in the overarching story, in quotations, has been scrapped because they were working on Kang and the multiverse, and we saw how that went over the last few years. Yes, I'm looking at you, Ant-Man Commie Mania.
I mean, I know socialism is a charged word, but we could learn a lot.
And the poor reception that the MCU has been getting since phase 4 and 5, they completely scrapped Kang. Jonathan Majors did nothing wrong, by the way, except play Kang goofy, but other than that, they completely scrapped the plans that they already had. So with the hard pivot to Doom, what is there to be excited about? We have no idea what they're going to do with this film and why we should even care. We just had Captain EBT that came out not too long ago, and that was a complete shit show of a movie. I already talked about it. If you want to go see it, go watch the review, but it's not worth your money, and I wouldn't even watch it for free. We had what? Who's going to lead the Avengers? Fucking Captain Marvel with her flop of a movie, and who? Photon, who's in another universe, and Miss Marvel with the Young Avengers that's definitely totally coming out. But we got Shang-Chi and Marvel's Katie gonna be on the roster. We got Hand-Me-Down Falcon from Hand-Me-Down Captain America gonna be in the film. Dr. Third Eye after his garbage. Oh, don't even get me started on that movie. I hate it with all my passion. But Doctor Strange, is he gonna be the leader of the Avengers? We know it can't be Thor because he's off babysitting some child that he got from some maniac. I know y'all not even knowing what I'm talking about because nobody watched these godforsaken movies anymore, but that's the point. Nobody knows and nobody cares, because I can tell you how this is about to go down. You're going to have the Fantastic Four movie come out, and it's going to destroy their universe and put them into our universe. And after that, we're going to have their Doom coming over to our universe, and then they're going to do their overarching multiversal saga that completely has not been connected, but somehow they're going to try to convince you that it was. They're going to fight Doomsday, and then they're going to go to Secret Wars, and then they're going to reboot their entire universe. So what is the actual point of getting excited for those Avengers films when everything that we're watching right now literally does not matter? It's like the DCEU a few years ago where they had The Flash, where they had Aquaman and all these other movies coming out, and we knew that that universe was dying, so those movies didn't even matter. And not to mention they weren't good movies, so that just did further damage to the brand. And that's what I see going on with the MCU right now, because I seriously doubt that the Thunderbolts is going to be good. I think that the Fantastic Four has a chance of being good, even though it does have that female Silver Surfer in there. I think it does have a chance of being good. But those are the only things that you have in theaters into Avengers Doomsday. And nobody is really checking for your Disney Plus shows, as we've seen over the last few years. But the internet is the internet, so it's going to make the rounds. And when people see the things that you have coming up until Avengers Doomsday, they're going to be like, what is the MCU even doing? We have Daredevil coming out, which admittedly I think looks pretty good, man. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, but that's just me huffing on that copium for real. But what else do you have? Ironheart that still has to release this year. Yeah, I know a lot of people keep forgetting, but Marvel's Ironheart still releases this year in the summer. It's going to be another one of those Acolyte situations where the show comes out and it completely damages the brand based on how bad it is. Now, hey, I've only seen the trailer. I'm just going off of intuition. I don't see this thing being good. It's been filmed since 2022 and they've been trying to keep it on the shelf and get rid of it, but they just can't. So they're probably going to dump it all at once like they did Echo. I know nobody remembers Echo, but let me show you a clip and show you how bad that was. In this scene, Echo beats the Kingpin by using the power of all of her ancestors and curing him of his childhood trauma. You have all these loose threads from all these different movies. The Shang-Chi post-credit scene, the Marvels post-credit scene, the Eternals post-credit scene. You have all these different things happening and none of it is connected in any kind of way. So it takes away from the specialty of the Avengers films. Those are culminations of arcs through different movies. There are no arcs, so nobody will care. And that's the thing that really sucks. You have taken the spark that was one of the biggest intellectual properties in film of all time, and you have turned that into failing TV shows on a failing streaming service and movies that are flopping and getting historic lows for your franchise. So why would I or anybody else care what you're about to do with Avengers Doomsday? It does nothing for us. We don't know these characters, nor do we care. You've been building this cinematic universe in phase 4 and 5 since 2020, and you have had flop after flop after flop after flop. And that's the major problem. It's not superhero fatigue, it's bad movie fatigue. Nobody wants to spend 2 hours of their life watching a film that's gonna culminate to Ant-Man beating a freaking multiversal villain with ants. Nobody wants to waste their time watching Captain Brown Man run around and tell Red Hulk, you gotta be better, and then the film just ends. Especially when none of these films connect in the way that people know the MCU. You're just oversaturating your brand in a terrible way. Because I know me and other people, we would love to have more good superhero movies, as you saw with Spider-Man No Way Home, with Guardians 3, and just recently Deadpool and Wolverine. Good is an over-exaggeration for that film, but that's another video for another day. Regardless, people will still come out to the movies if you make good products, but they have not been getting that, so nobody's going to be excited for it. You could also quote me when I say that when Avengers Doomsday comes out, nobody's really gonna care that much. Yeah, it's gonna get the little general pop because it has the name Avengers on it, but then when you start thinking into context of the characters that they're gonna have on the roster, it doesn't matter if you bring the Russos back, it doesn't matter if you bring RDJ back, Chris Evans, nobody. It doesn't matter. It does nothing for your brand but muddle it, especially when you're about to reboot. People aren't going to care, especially your core audience, which has already left your property. All in all I see with the MCU is the exact same thing that happened to the Western. You got way too many bad ones and people got tired of the genre, and then it just faded into obscurity. Yeah, you still got your few Westerns here and there that were semi-good to good, some were bad, but it wasn't the dominant genre anymore. And I see that happening with not just the MCU, but the superhero genre in general. People are tired of going to the theaters and getting burned by these mid to below average superhero films when they have been spoiled for a decade plus of good storytelling over overarching movies. And then when they continue to put out crap Disney show after Disney show, movie after movie, all it's gonna do is turn off the normie audience, the ones that's generating them the most money. And once you lose the normies, they do not come back. You're getting nothing but diminishing returns because you pumped the gas on the MCU after 2020 thinking you could just throw anything at the wall and it would stick, and the audience is telling you that's not the case. I am a strong advocate for when they got done with Endgame, they should have said, we are done for now. We will do like a Secret Wars movie or a culmination of movies, maybe 2 to 3 Avengers films, and then we will reboot our universe with the Fantastic Four, with the X-Men, and start from scratch, rebuilding this Avengers roster and doing an entire new phase of characters, recast everything, and continue to build on those characters the same way that you did in phases 1 and 2. Get the audience back in your good graces, make the audience miss you and want to see these characters return. But no, what they did is said, oh, we're the MCU, we can do whatever you want. You want a show about Wanda? Oh, you want a show about that one song that you remember from a random Thursday about a witch? Oh yeah, we'll give you an entire show. Hey, you know that character from Black Panther, Emotional Manipulation, that you don't remember her name, but she was just a MacGuffin throughout the entire film? Yeah, let's give her a TV show. Let's do things, you know, give everybody a TV show. Let's do it. Hey, who's the janitor that was on one of those helicarriers? Let's give him a TV show.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the 9.
They were just doing things, and it hasn't worked in their favor because they thought that they were untouchable, and the audience is telling them that they are not. I'm not really looking forward to this, especially knowing that you're just gonna reboot anyway. So why would I care about what you're doing, to be honest with you? But hey man, that's how I feel. If you agree, put that down below, and if you disagree and you like the diminishing returns that you've been getting from the MCU, you put that down below as well, and we could talk about it. The same way Sam Wilson was trying to talk about getting a loan, but because he's black, somehow he couldn't get a loan from a bank, even though this nigga saved the world. Yeah, I didn't make that up. That's from a Disney Plus show that people keep saying is good. I'm gonna have to do a video on that someday. And as always, y'all be easy. I will see you on the next one, man.